night in Dearborn, Michigan. The biggest game of the year for the Fordson High School Tractors as they take on crosstown rivals Edsel Ford High.
You know, it's battle of the best, and you're going to have everyone in the city talking about this game.
Classic slice of Americana, with one interesting exception. About 2/3 of the team are devout Muslims, including star player Rabia Baidoun.
I'm the Fordson running back on offense, and I play cornerback on defense.
Baidoun scored 3 touchdowns in the 35-14 win. And afterwards, pure joy. There is no holy war on this battlefield. The Christian and Muslim players bonded long ago.
Doesn't make a difference what religion. When you get the helmet and the pads on, everyone's a brother. It doesn't matter.
I don't like to call them friends on this team. They're all family.
With such a strong and vibrant community, this town and the team are a haven to kids like Rabia. But when the Tractors hit the road for away games, it's a different story.
Just the looks and everything, you know, you feel uncomfortable already. We had guys calling us, you effing Arabs, you this, you that.
But that kind of adversity and shared human experience only toughens bonds with the people who know and understand them. And those bonds can come through a winning season or a communal tragedy. Sheboygan County, Wisconsin is a place about as different from Manhattan as you can imagine. But this year, they had their very own mosque controversy here, one nearly as bitter as the dispute near Ground Zero.
They are hitting criminals.
In February, a local doctor bought this former health food store with the intention of turning it into a mosque for the few dozen Muslim families who live nearby. And that came as unsettling news to Wayne DeVrue, pastor of the First Reformed Church.
Radical Islam is what we're at war with. And so if you don't know if your new neighbors teach something radical or not, it raises a question mark.
People, they came and they are upset and they are angry, they are mad.
There isn't a Muslim in this room that can say they peacefully assemble.
Say this is going to be, they are terrorists.
Muhammad Hamad is a mechanical engineer and also the imam, or spiritual leader of this mosque. After 10 years living in the Midwest, he never dreamed his house of worship would lead to a months-long battle with neighbors, punctuated by a rock through the window. The town board eventually voted to allow the mosque, but a simmering resentment remained. Just weeks later, on a beautiful summer day, 9-year-old Sophia Khan was vacationing on the shores of Lake Michigan with the rest of her family, Muslim Americans from Chicago. Toward the end of their last day, little Sophia played in a kayak just steps away from her father.
She was close to the shoreline, and a wave came in and pulled her offshore further out into the water, and I could not catch up with her.
Got within about 20 feet of his daughter, and as he crested a wave, he could see her, and the last thing that she said to him was, "Daddy, I'm scared." And when he came back down, he lost sight of her, came back up, and she was out of the kayak.
Rita Hemmerling is one of Pastor Wayne DeVrue's parishioners. She says the moment Sophia went missing, all the grudges and suspicion melted away.
We really, really felt that tragedy and that bonding and the way that we could come together and help each other.
It didn't matter what ethnicity you were, where you go to church, people came together and helped their brother.
The next morning, Sophia was still missing, but Omar Khan was no longer searching for his daughter alone.
I went out into the water to see if there was something there. And as I turned around to look, and it brought tears to my eyes that it wasn't just me anymore. About 40 other people were in the water.
For 3 weeks, the Muslims and Christians of Sheboygan County searched side by side for Sophia.
She gave us a gift we will be remembered for the rest of our life. In spite of her size, she built a bridge, that bridge 100-mile length between communities.
Tragically, Sophia was never found, but she left something very valuable behind. So if any good can come from such a horrific event, maybe a little more understanding?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And it also opened eyes for me personally, so much more than my previous knowledge of what a Muslim does, what their traditions are. I mean, these people were just awesome.
9 years after 9/11, fear and suspicion seem as raw as ever.
One man does not define a religion.
But in some of America's football fields and farmlands, there are seeds of understanding, and maybe the roots of reconciliation. We'll be right back with some final thoughts.
We're back now. Bill and Lama and I have talked about what a journey this was for each of us.
Learned so much. And it occurred to me at a certain point, there's not a Christian in America who would let their faith be defined by a abortion clinic bomber or a pedophile priest, because the neighbors all understand what Christianity is. And the more I learned about what Islam is, the more Muslims felt like neighbors.
Well, I grew up in a Muslim household, and I didn't know that much about my own religion. It was only until now that I found out that some of the text is misconstrued or misinterpreted, especially in the West.
Especially perhaps here in America with all the complexity right now. And one thing we all know for sure, and you do too, we know, we've heard it in your emails, is that it depends on Muslims, non-Muslims linking arms together to ensure the security of this country and the world. And we know you have other questions, but some of them will be answered this Sunday. Again, Christiane Amanpour will be continuing this conversation. I'm Diane Sawyer for Bill Weir, Lama Hassan, and all of us at ABC News. Good night.